Welcome to Reading the Green, our golf and fantasy sports show. My name is Mike with Kyle and Jordan on Tuesday, February 27th. This is episode 99, the Cognizant Classic preview and Mexico Open recap. Gentlemen, welcome to the great one.
There's two key things there, Mike. First off, you have both of us. We're both here. It's been a while. It's good. It's good to be here as a group. We're in the nest here. I'm excited. And episode 99.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. 1 week. We got 1 week to figure out the plans for Big 100.
Episode 99. Well, hopefully we're
Jordan,
all feeling 100% for that one, Mike.
I was going to say, Kyle, it was a little dicey on whether or not you might have been doing a solo pod tonight.
What happened?
We had a little bit of a situation here. Let me just kind of paint the picture, right? So I'm flying solo with a few kids at home through the weekend. Jordan and his family were nice enough to come over and spend some time at the playground and come back to our house afterwards. And, hey, then let's order dinner. We'll get something on DoorDash. And Jordan just starts scrolling through. Says, how do you feel about Korean?
Rachel said she wanted Asian. So Rachel even acknowledged that this might be her fault because she requested Asian food.
That's risky. That's risky given the allergies in your family there, Jordan. But anyway.
So Jordan's like, how do you feel about Korean? And I'm like, well, the only Korean restaurant I know here in the Twin Cities is World Street Kitchen, which is kind of a couple different things, but you get a yum yum bowl there, and they have good stuff. That's not what we got. We got Banshan. I shouldn't even say this, Banshan, but I did. Banshan fried chicken, and got some pork sticky buns, some fried chicken wings.
That's like Uptown, right?
Yeah,
it is. Yeah,
and it's a chain, so like they should have the shit figured out.
We devoured it.
Delicious.
Devoured it. We said
the food was amazing. Loved every bite. Some of the best pot stickers I may have ever had. The wings were good. The katsu was good. Delicious.
Yeah. Jordan and I were both pretty much dead on Sunday.
Yeah. The shits hit me at 5 a.m.
Oh boy. Just you two, or was it everyone?
Yeah. Just us two. Rachel didn't get it. None of the kids ate any of the food, thank goodness.
So what did you guys eat that the wife didn't eat?
So we all ate. We ordered just a bunch. We all ate all of it. There was one. We got two different flavors of wings, and Rachel didn't eat one of them. Otherwise, we all ate everything. She was totally fine, and I was laid up 3/4 of the day Sunday, like barely ate anything yesterday. Finally had a full meal at lunch today, and immediately went and shit my brains out at my office.
So whatever that flavor of wing was, had a little extra sauce on it, huh?
So if you need to go on a little diet right before a vacation, get some banchan.
And then Mike, you had to pull off solo parenting in this condition, huh?
My wife texted me, she's in Florida, and she's like, hey, Rosie's Girl Scout troop needs help at the mall on Sunday selling cookies. She's like, you think you could make it? And I was like, I'm having tummy troubles.
But I might be skipping ahead. Are you back on the sauce, Mike? I saw Jordan's not.
Yeah, well, let's get into it. Yeah, I'll preview. I'm doing okay.
I went water. I'm not gonna risk.
I'll roll
a little bourbon and run.
That helps.
I'll roll the dice tonight. I am drinking Quantum Drops. This is a collaboration between Equilibrium and Barrell Theory. I don't buy a lot of Equilibrium out of New York, but this is a 8.5% double IPA beer balanced by science.
You call that a Jordan beer right there.
Mm-hmm.
I have from Fair State, All Gray Everywhere. It says it's a crisp, dry, aromatic IPA, perfect for companion for bleak winter months. And in the upper Midwest, we went from spring to 1 day of winter in the next 24 hours here. And then we go back to spring. So I figured I'd better get this out of the way now.
That beer sounds pretty good. I should go pick that up.
I think on its own, I like it. It's one that if you were hopping a couple different beers, it might not pair, but it's kind of Jordan. It reminds me of, I think you were a fan too of that, was the Brute IPA they did for a while at Fair State.
Oh yeah.
I would say it's a similar vein. Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys want to talk a little golf?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Jordan, you missed. I don't know what you were doing last night. I guess I do know what you're doing now. You missed the match 9. Rory, Max, Lexi, Rose. This was, I think, out of the 9 matches, this is the first one I legitimately watched. It must have been, I don't know, time of day. The time of day was good, like primetime TV. I tuned in and watched it with the kids for a little bit, and I got some talkers. So you guys want to spin the wheel of discussion topics?
Yes, let's spin. As you spin, I'll talk a little bit. But yes, I watched the whole thing. I enjoyed it being in Florida and not in Vegas. Just
Yeah.
Why?
Well, let's go ahead, Kyle.
Why, Kyle?
No, go ahead.
You don't like Vegas? No, you said.
It was
liked
just
being
it
in
was
Florida,
it
not
was a
Vegas.
different vibe. Playing under the lights, I thought was cool, and it just being someone in the Midwest, watching golf go on in Vegas in the sunny, bright skies, warm days. I don't know, just had a different vibe. I enjoyed it.
Gotcha. Nice. I would actually like to see them do one of the unique par 3 courses around the country, right? Like the Sandbox, or there's every one of the resorts has one now. Just do a 9-hole. You each get your 56, your 60, and a putter, and go play it, because there's weirdness to a lot of those holes, and giant greens, tiny greens. That would
So
make
I see you have this on the wheel, Jordan, or Mike. So I'll leave my comment for that, Jordan, because there is a tie to last night.
Yeah. Let's start with this question. Is there a more frustrating pro than Lexi Thompson? I know you guys don't probably pay attention to or watch as much the women's golf as maybe I've seen, but I mean, she's actually has a history, right? She's got rules infractions in critical times. She's got just absolute complete back 9 major meltdowns on Sunday, atrocious putting performances. And she steps up on the first hole, hits the par 5 and 2 and 3 putts for par from 20 feet, rolls her first putt by 10 feet. Steps up on the next hole, hits a worm burner that gets no more than 10 feet off the ground on a drive hole par 4, and then rolls it in a 30-footer for eagle. Like, she's just absolutely all over the place, can't hit a solid shot, and it's just really frustrating to watch someone that's been around with that much talent for so long just be all over the place. Especially like you compare that to Rory, who never seems to take a bad swing. I know say what we want about Rory, but everything about his golf game, it seems to be, more or less perfect. So it's just, there's a lot of different ways to play golf, and she has made a career out of playing golf in a very frustrating way.
Yeah, you're right. I don't watch a whole lot of LPGA, but I was very intrigued last night. But the feeling when Rose stepped up, you knew what you were going to get relative to Lexi, which she hit a fierce duck hook on one of the holes too, that just about killed people. So yeah, it was all over the map. But I enjoyed watching her.
Did they tee off on the same tee boxes?
Just par 3s.
Yeah, just the par 3s. All right, here we go. Par skins. So there was a moment, I think this was the 8th hole, where Rory 2-putted, or maybe just got up and down from just off the green for a par on the par 3 8th. And the 2 ladies ended up making 4, and then Max 3-putted from 16 feet for a par, or for a bogey. I don't know if you guys play a lot of skins games, but what's the punishment for winning a skin with a par?
Well, the funny thing is, they gave Rory a putt, and then he didn't give any of the other 3 putts, and they were all very makeable. And then said he was ashamed for it. So I don't know the club nomenclature, so I'll let Jordan answer that from that perspective. It was just the way it played out was fun.
Jordan, you play any skins game?
Once in a while. It's usually that you make fun of all the fucking idiots that got a bogey, and then the par guy gets the money. That was I actually won one. We went out after our men's league and we were just goofing around playing. We played those back tees on that par 3 that's like 250, and I hit my 3-wood to like 10 feet, missed the putt, but got a par then. And everyone else was all over the place and got a bogey, and I won everyone's money. And I talked a lot of smack for winning it as a par. I was like, you guys, none of you fuckers could make a par.
It's like a par 3.5. That's a tough hole.
That one's a little different, yes. But I think it's the same, right? I think a par 3, if it's a par 3, normal par 3, and you're the only person to par it, you can really make fun of everyone else for getting a bogey.
Yeah. All right, one change to make to the match. Jordan, you suggested maybe playing it at a premier par 3 course. I think that's a really cool idea.
Yeah, or even one of those like the sandbox one where you can putt the whole thing, right? It's like get some interesting. No one's out there to watch the golf, right? I don't need to see driver and whatever. Like, do a 65-yard hole where they have the option of putting the entire thing, or they can hit a wedge.
Kyle?
So first off, I liked last night. I feel like it started out pretty positive on Twitter and then it trended towards hate, which I don't understand at all. Like, it's Monday night in the off season from a lot of other sports, right? If you're watching that, you like to watch golf, regardless of what the product is, just be happy with what you have to watch. Like, there was no other team I liked last night was playing. Iowa wasn't playing. The Minnesota Wild weren't playing. So yeah, I was entertained. It was something to watch. So in general, yes, I loved it. I think one thing you could do differently is why are we restricting ourselves to foursomes? It's yes, foursomes is usually how you play golf, but it's a made for TV product. Have 8 people out there. I have 3 women's golfers, 3 professional golfers, and 3 NFL players like they've had in the past that are just out there pounding beers that give us comedic relief when they suck at a shot or something. Like, just keep changing it up, keep doing different things to make it interesting. It's something to watch.
It dragged on a little bit. That was my only complaint. Like, whatever the format is, it can't be 3.5 hours is a bit long for that to run out. So
how many holes did they play in 3.5 hours?
12. Well, plus a
why do they always
chip
do
off.
12? I don't. What is? They're all 12. Just do 9. Be normal.
Let's do one more topic here. We'll see what we got. Oh well, Kyle, I think you're right though. I did enjoy it. It was I think it was the right mix of people. I did not enjoy DJ Khaled and Paul Bissonnette. They offered absolutely nothing to the broadcast, and we later found out that both of them thought they were participating in the match.
Yes, Jordan, so you missed that piece. Apparently, so DJ Khaled and Barkley played in a par 3 contest that took place earlier in the day, but according to No Laying Out, DJ thought he was actually playing. So there was video of him on the range warming up next to Rose and Rory.
That I saw. That was
yeah, and this is the part that I disliked. It feels yes, it's a made for TV product, but there's parts of it that feel so forced. In those two particularly, I know they're TNT personalities and DJ likes to play golf, but we don't need that. No one that's tuning into the match just to watch the match cares about either of those guys.
Yes. Yeah, you get a commentator that is like, even like Shaq as a commentator, Charles Barkley, right? Like someone that is just an entertaining personality.
They had Charles Barkley.
Oh, he was there?
He was fine. I just don't think that DJ Khaled and Biz knew what to do with themselves. Like, they were really out of their element, and it showed. Like, that they're not comfortable in that environment, and so
it'd be like us going out and doing it.
Like,
we wouldn't be comfortable either.
Yeah, they weren't in the booth commenting. They were in a golf cart, like following them on the course, and they didn't show them for like 5 hours, and then they like tried to force themselves back into the conversation. It was just weird.
And Ernie Johnson shut it down. He was like, all right, guys, we're done. And they cut him off. But last thing I saw, we texted about it right when it happened. One club challenge. each player had to pick a club to play a 400-yard hole with, and Rory picked 5 wood.
Which
I, I don't
he would
know.
take back in a heartbeat.
I know, because the person that played it the right way was Rose. She took whatever club she took off the tee. She divided the distance by 2 and said, I'll just hit that club twice. And she hit it to 30 feet or whatever. Rory left himself with a 175-yard 5-wood into the green, which he hit about pin high, about 2 feet off on the fringe. It was just a fantastic 175-yard banana 5-wood. That even Homa, I think, as soon as he hit it, was like, that was sick.
Yeah. And actually, that was one of the big takeaways last night. I had a text listener Derek on the second hole saying that Homa didn't feel in his element. I think he was trying to figure out like how to fit in with the talk and stuff. But as the night went on, like that dry, chippy, quick-witted humor came out. And he had some great little very quick one-liners. My favorite was Rory was 5 feet away and Rose said something and like, oh, I thought you were shorter than 5 feet. And Max just instantly goes, no, he's 5'8". Like it was just like quick, dry. Like
do you think he like took a couple shots in the cart or something like that? Like just had to loosen up.
They kept showing the cart, and I think, well, funny enough, I think I probably know why, but they showed Lexi's cart the most. They also, it looked like she had a couple, like some sorts of seltzers in her cup holders that she never touched all night. They were still like not even popped. So there might have been something out there, but
sure.
Back to the football player piece. When Mahomes had drank 5 Coors Lights in 6 holes in Vegas a couple of years ago, that was kind of fun.
Yeah. Can I tell you? So I literally paid no attention to this whatsoever. When you said like, Mike, you said like Rose is so good or Rose is something. I 100% thought it was Justin Rose, and I was like, it's kind of mean to put Justin Rose and Max Homa versus Rory. I thought it was 3 dudes and Lexi. Because we've texted before about Rose is Justin Rose, and then as you were talking, it's like, oh, Rose Jang, yeah.
You're not the only one. When I was texting earlier in the day about that, somebody from the listener league might have had the same thought initially.
Good. Glad it's not just me.
All right, well, we'll move on to the Mexico Open recap. Kyle, you had something. So Jake Knapp, we get another rookie winner on the PGA Tour. I didn't check what was his line at the beginning of the week. Kyle, do you remember?
Most people took him like 40, 45.
Okay,
which seems really short given his.
Yeah, but he's been on a tear. He was priced $8,700 in DraftKings, so he certainly was given the respect of a guy that finished, I think, 3rd at Torrey, and has certainly been playing all right early in his rookie season. But you had something to say about the community being on Jake Knapp this week.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I feel like the last 3-4 community wins I've been all over. But given the nature of how I had to get my bets in last week, I was not on Jake Knapp, so it was a frustrating one to sit out. And I wouldn't have been there outside of seeing the community on it. And I enjoyed partaking in the community wins.
Well, I guess I misinterpreted your text when you said it's going to be annoying when Jake Knapp wins because the community was there. I thought you were annoyed that the community was celebrating. And here you were.
I thought you were annoyed that, yeah.
It was like 2 weeks ago when the community was on Wyndham Clark and you were there. You had no problem celebrating that.
I like to be a part of the community, guys. We try to lift each other up and the people we listen to, people we follow, and I wanted to be a part of the championship.
Well, this was covered at length on No Laying Up this week in their Mexico Open recap, but the quality of golf on Sunday was fairly sloppy out of our leaders. If you did watch the final round of the Mexico Open, both Jake Knapp and Sammy Valimaki showing some nerves, and I think that's what you get out of PGA Tour rookies. I know it's the Mexico Open. I know the strength of field is half of what we've seen all year, but playing golf on Sunday with a lead or being near a lead for your first win is a lot different than playing Thursday through Saturday. And I was really surprised. I was surprised to see some of the shakiness out of Knapp, only because his golf swing is so pure. Thursday through Saturday, he looked invincible, and then I don't know how he's hitting some of these shots on Sunday. Sammy, I'll give the pass to because he kind of seems like a guy that just hits it all over the place to begin with.
Yeah, Sunday there was parts tough to watch, especially early, and I think if the pressure was still on Knapp, I don't think he wins. I think once he got a little bit of separation, once Sammy started to falter and no one else jumped up, I think there was a point, I texted the group that I thought 11 under was live, and Finau was in that group. Jaeger was in that group. He had a nice Sunday, but really no one hopped up and put pressure on. On Thursday, Friday, Saturday, there was 7-8 unders from the field. No one did that on Sunday. That was in the pursuing group. Overall though, I think the course kind of gets in the event itself got a bad rap. That's not fair. It's yes, you can score out there, but there's danger as well. There's a lot of double bogeys. We saw lots of implosions, including dudes that missed the cut, unfortunately. So yeah, I kind of enjoyed watching it, to be honest.
I've got so many jokes about you guys picking people that missed the cut, but we'll save that for one and done.
I had lots of cut issues this week.
Hey, we get where it matters, Jordan. We get our advice right. Let's see that.
Yeah, we'll get to that too. Well, the conversation on Wednesday night, Kyle texted me, said, "Are we full send on Sammy Valimaki this week?" If you saw our top plays on Wednesday afternoon, you would have seen that our top power index play was Sammy Valimaki. And so, of course, I responded and said, full send, no question. And we both loaded up on DFS on Sammy Valimaki. We had Jake Knapp in our high mention share percentage top plays. I had enough lineups with Valimaki and Knapp in them. I had lineups with Jaeger, Valimaki, and Knapp. And it was still a tough week because there were a handful of landmines on the -1 cut line that really, really hurt. Smalley, Vincent Norman,
Sam Stevens,
Sam
+2,
Stevens. I think he was yeah.
His ejection the last 4 holes.
Yeah. Michael Kim was right there. Nate Lashley. Like it was the cut line was really tough. We sweated it all the way down to the 65th player that just snuck in there, and that's the difference in DFS. So I think it went from being it was a very average week that was very close to being a really good week given how much we got right. The power index crushed it. We were just a couple of tough holes down the stretch away from having a great week.
Mike, who was that 65th player that messed it up for everyone?
I believe his name is Ryo Hisatsun.
I was not gonna say it. Thank you.
Rio H for Kyle.
Which I've listened to some podcasts this week where people have butchered his name and then admitted that they were butchering his name and admitted that they were saying it different than they said it in the past. So there are professionals in this industry, Kyle, that do the exact same thing. All right, let's do a quick we'll do a quick RTG rundown this week for some of our results. Listener League, Ness 0163 taking home the top spot. I believe he was the only 6 of 6 in the Listener League this week, so good job there. I'm sure if you played that lineup elsewhere, that probably was making some money. Random G, newcomer to the Listener League last couple of weeks, finishes in 2nd, and Arano M12 in 3rd. Top contributing expert of the week, Matt Gannon, one of the new touts that we've been following this season out of Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Sammy Valimaki, Tony Finau, Maverick McNeely, Grayson Sigg, all making the cut this week. Our gutsiest play goes to Andy Lack over at Golf Digest with Adam Svensson. That doesn't sound right because he was not in the field. So I did not update that from last week. I think gutsiest play was Chan Kim. I'll give that Byron Lindy. We tweeted that out. Byron Lindy, Chan Kim.
I appreciate Jordan sending out the Listener League as you talked about it, Mike. It
went out 2 minutes ago.
So that's why he's here. Should we talk one and done?
Yeah. I'm always happy to talk about one and done with you two schlubs.
Well, while Jordan's getting ready, overall.
Oh, I was prepared, Kyle.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I thought you needed a minute. Your face told me you needed a minute. So
Go
for
ahead.
it. Go for it.
We had no big money this week. 3 guys had Steven Jagger, couple EVRs. So, but third place was the best we got for 430K. So no major moves there. We do have someone up 2.5 million now. I don't know, he must have done well 2 weeks ago to get a little cash in there, but we have quite a few, 21 guys over $1 million. And then we get down towards the bottom and we find you guys per the usual. I like, I didn't put an entry in 1 week, and
Which
you
is
guys haven't caught
amazing.
up any ground on me because you guys both missed the cut again this week.
This is the
No,
first
that's
cut I
my
missed all
first-
year.
That's my first miscut all year too. And I'll just say, just anyone,
like-
even Jeans and Regulation, who's dead last, Jeans and Regulation, back-to-back dubs, and they're in first. There's been so few wins this year. Everyone's alive.
Yes,
Mhm.
everyone is
Well,
alive. We're
once-
assuming, my assumption is you guys are not alive because you are terrible at picking this.
We do have a year and a quarter of data so far, and
Yeah.
that have not been good. But look at who I picked. I have all the studs still left. I've used Max. That's about it.
Yep. There's a chance. There's a chance.
Last thing I'll say on a similar topic, Jordan, you're welcome for the Finau pick. That was I know that was tough to get to in your Survivor League, but we gave you Finau last week.
Didn't I text you back and said Finau, right?
Yeah. We did have to sweat it out a little bit as he got off to a slow start on Friday, but he was well inside the cut line by the end of that. So we move on. We move on, and as we flip over to the Cognizant Classic here pretty soon, Jordan, we're going to workshop your Survivor League pick right off the bat. Kyle, final thoughts on Mexico, or should we move on?
Let's move. Let's go.
All right, here we go. Cognizant Classic, formerly the Honda Classic. If you're wondering what this golf tournament is, we had the PGA National in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, where Chris Kirk won last year in a playoff over Eric Cole. The full field event, top 65 and ties on the 7,100-yard par 71 Bermuda Greens golf course. Kyle, what gets it done at PGA National?
First and foremost, you need to avoid the water, which is more easily said than done. I would say overall, it usually rates out as your pure ball striking course. Distance has had its pop years, but if you look at the last 6 years of data, it's up and down. There's years distance has a lean, but there's one thing that never has a lean, which is very surprising to me, is driving accuracy. According to Rick Rungood, it's 39th out of 40 on tour last year for driving accuracy percentage and how much that correlates to success, which surprises me. But I think the read there, and Mike, me and you talked about this a little bit, is you don't necessarily need to hit the fairway, but you can't spray it. Like, so if you can miss the fairway, but you have to miss it within a certain distance, and you can be okay. Above average 150 to 200-yard approaches, and historically, it's the most difficult on tour for that approach distance. There's just so much trouble, not only off the tee and on that approach shot. Two things that could be a little bit different this year is the par 4 10th, which was the second hardest hole on tour last year relative to par, is now playing as a par 5. So they added 20 yards to it. It's playing as a par 5. Last year, I believe the scoring average was like 4.45 or something crazy, like over par. So that's why they made that change. And they did widen some fairways. So I would think overall the score relative to par would be a little easier this year. But yeah, historically, course play is pretty tough. There's a lot of ejections, and in general, there is going to be a lot of high chalk, high owned guys that just eject.
It doesn't take much. There is in-play water hazards on some sources say 15, some sources say 16 holes on this golf course. And so, you can miss. To your point, you can miss. You don't need to be in the fairway. There's almost no penalty for missing the fairway itself, but you can find yourself in trouble. And to your point, you 3 bad swings, 4 bad swings off the tee on approach play, and you're packing your bags on Friday night. So it is really tough. Even you take a guy like Rory, it's tough to guarantee. I mean, he's got a couple of miscuts in his history here. Like, it's tough to guarantee success on this golf course. And so I think what makes it fun for an early season test before we get into the Players and Bay Hill and then Augusta is you should get a good golf tournament here. And we do have a good field. What I see is it 19 in the top 50. It's going to be a pretty decent field this week. And so, I think it's definitely going to be worth tuning in as a fan to watch this. Rory's back for the first time in 6 years as his commitment to play a little more before the Masters this year.
So with all that
before we
said,
go,
who am I picking?
that's what I said. Before we go to the model, Kyle's got a pitch.
All right, Jordan. Okay, we have a guy to offer you. What would you say if I say there's a guy that's played this course or this event 9 times and only missed 1 cut, and that was in 2016, 8 years ago. He has won this event, finished 3rd. He's finished 8th. He's been top 20 5 times. His last missed cut overall was July of last year at the Open Championship, and his last missed cut in a non-major was at the Genesis in 2023.
What?
Have we sold you?
I didn't see Taylor Gooch on the list.
Somebody had to. All right. It's easy to make cuts when you play a limit. Have we sold you on this gentleman?
It sounds great. It sounds good. I texted you earlier. I just clicked Cameron Young because I was like, I try and get a pick in now, right? So after I missed this,
we applaud you doing that right from the jump. Yes,
I get a name in there, make sure someone is selected, and then I did a little bit of research today. Got to Shane Lowry. He's got a good course history, good on the southeastern Bermuda greens. Who is? I don't even know. I'm looking at. Let me.
You don't have to guess who it is. We'll just tell you.
We'll just tell. Do you want us to tell you, or you want to try to guess?
No, you can tell me as long as you don't say Tom Hoagie.
Nope, it is Russell Henley.
Well, the bad news is we played him already.
Ooh, I forgot that.
I looked at him.
That's a fun twist. So I hate recommending Shane Lowry, but that might be a decent option.
When did we pick?
I think we might have picked him at the Sony. Yeah.
Sony.
Yeah. Bummer. Wow, that was an interesting twist.
Yeah,
Let's
if
take that
anyone
back
out
to the
there
workshop.
is in an eliminator league, there's your sales pitch for Russell Henley.
The good news is there were 17 people that picked Henley in the first tournament, which is when I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them are out. So at least there's 9 people. 9 of the 60 left can't pick Russell Henley.
Well, this is a fun twist. So now we get to workshop this live. I'm intrigued by Shane Lowry, but I'm hesitant to recommend him just because he's the guy that always seems to burn me in the past. He does have a 5th, a 2nd, a 36th, and a 21st here over his last 4 starts. Mike, who else is on your radar?
Also on my radar this week would maybe be someone like Eric Cole, not only because he, a little bit of a recency bias here, obviously had the course, the form from last year, but he's been playing. He finished 10th at the Genesis, missed the cut at the Farmers Insurance, but 49th at Phoenix, 14th at AT&T, 21st at the Amex, 13th at Sony. He's had a pretty decent Eric Cole-like start to the season. We know he hits it very accurately off the tee, which Kyle, you said has almost zero correlation to success here. Don't have to be particularly long on this course, and he's a master on the iron play. So hopefully a high floor for Eric Cole this week.
I don't mind Cole. I think if you really wanted to get cute, you could go Sepp Straka. He's he's won here. He's at 5th, 33rd, 27th. He hasn't missed a cut since 2019. But if I was going to do that, I might even just fire Rory instead.
Eric Cole on the DFS side, by the way, $9,900 is an absolute joke. We haven't got into the DFS board yet, but I will come back to this. There's a couple of names out there, but in the interest of time, Kyle, you want to run through the RTG model?
Yeah. So far leading the way is Adam Svensson, $7,700. Very interesting, but this group has an investment there, so we fully support the Adam Svensson love. 44% mention share so far, 66 on the MPI. We have Benny on next at 9,500, along with Seabass, Eric Cole, Rory, and Russell Henley, all at that 34% mention share. The MPI likes Seabass and Rory a lot more than the others. I'm sure we'll talk about each of those individually with some of our picks this week.
Well, with Rory, I mean, you live and die with Rory. I have just this absolute fear of ejection. He does have 2 missed cuts, missed the cut in 2016 and in 2015, finished T59 in 2018. So he doesn't have particularly good course history here since his second in 14 and his first in 2012. But it just, you wouldn't be surprised if you missed the cut, and you wouldn't be surprised if you won this golf tournament. And that's how I feel about it.
He looked pretty good at
he looked pretty good at the match. I know, and that's why you wouldn't be surprised if they missed the cut. And so I don't know. I honestly don't know what to do with them at 12-2. I think it's kind of like Tony Finau last week, where I'll probably play him. Even weight to the field is probably what I'll do.
Yeah, I think it 100% comes down to what contest you're in with Rory. I don't have a problem going there with single entry. GPP, I think, especially this week with as much ejection potential, I think I would look to get different. But if you're going to get different, you can't just play the same people everyone else is, right? If you're going to go off Rory, like, don't just go to Eric Cole and Shane Lowry. I guess is my view of the situation. But I also don't fully lean into just playing all pivots this week. I think you just got to play the 1, 2, 3 guys that you really like, and then pivot, and not play the 6-shot guys, but play 2 of them and then try to get different from the rest. So I'm going to be in on Rory to an extent. Coughlin is a new contributor for us in between media. He's on them. I think Spencer at Rotoballer thinks we might get a little bit of ownership break, and that's kind of where I'm at. We'll see what his ownership looks like when it comes to lock time, and see what we decide.
There are a fair amount of cheaper, at least model-wise, cheaper guys that can help you build around Rory also. Right?
You're
like
right.
a lot of times you get 6,001 that everyone's just throwing as a crapshoot, but there's 5 between 6 and 7,500 in our top 15.
Yeah, and you even have guys in the 5Ks starting to creep up into the 16, 17, 18% from mention share perspective. So that's the one thing that would lend me to believe that maybe some people go there. I have a hard time believing, though, with his form, Rory really gets 30-some%.
You think he's higher?
No, I think it's going to be lower.
I agree, and especially at 12 too. Like it's going to be, even with the amount number of 5 and low 6K players you could fit in. It's not going to be desirable to be playing a ton of Rory at 12-2. So I think you're right. You're going to see what you saw with Tony. You're going to see it come back down to earth, and you're going to see Henley come up, and it's going to even out probably around 25% or something like that. We also mentioned Seabass being right now charting out at, I think he's got the top spot on the power index right now. Seabass quietly having a decent start to the season, 24th at the Genesis Invitational, made the cut, finished T28 at the Phoenix Open, T20 at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, consistently gaining on approach, 3 to 4 strokes per round, has a T42 and a T25 at the Honda Classic in the past. Offers a probably reasonably high floor at $7,600 in a field where Seabass, that's probably where he ends up in salary in most events. And so I feel like you're probably getting him at a decent price there for Seabass in this event.
I'm with you, Mike. I like Seabass as well. Jeff Aldrich on him, Len Hochberg, who's been very good at the cheaper type guys. So I like that for $7,600.
The other two names I'll mention, I think if Svensson continues to chart out the top from a mention share standpoint, I will be playing Svensson this week, despite our shared interest in him on the season-long Calcutta. And then I will be playing the best C Young in this field, and that
Cameron.
is Carson Young. I will be playing Carson Young this week as he comes in at $6,700. No love for the guy that shouldn't have played well in Mexico and did finish his T8 in Mexico, T41 at Phoenix, T56 at the Farmers, T17 at the American Express, putting together a nice winter here, and finished T29 last year in his only appearance at the Honda Classic. So you want a guy that's very accurate off the tee. Again, zero correlation to success here, which I still find hard to believe. Solid approach player. Give me Carson Young, $6,700.
Well, just because of that, I'm going to play Cam Young in my RTG lineup. Prove you wrong.
And I don't think that's a bad take this week, as we've talked about. You have to getting different from at least a couple plays is probably a good move. So just moving down a little bit to some of those bombs, maybe pivots, if you will. I like Adam Schenk at 7,200. He is only getting 11% mention share so far, but some of our better contributors are on him. Spencer Aguilar, Landon Solinsky, who had a great week last week. If you followed on his Twitter, shout out to Landon. He won some nice contests. And then we're big fans of Brandon Wu on this show, but this week I like Dylan Wu, 6,100. He only has one mention so far, but that's from Landon Solinsky. And Landon's shown his abilities to find some solid plays so far. So I'm on board.
I'm going with the other Woo, Brandon. I'm actually gonna put in a lineup. Do we have 6 guys in the field this week? Are all 6 of ours? Well, not Aaron Wise, Mike, but
Aaron Wise is still out farming somewhere.
You should. I mean, honestly, if you want to play the RTG Calcutta plays this week, they're not shaping up too bad. Adam Svensson, Brandon Wu, Keith Mitchell, defending champ Chris Kirk, and then you got Kyle. What are we paying for Thomas Dietrich this week?
Thomas Dietrich was $10,100 last week. This week he is $6,900. I really like the chance of a rebound there, and if you're really looking for a pivot, I think it's a good place to look is Thomas Dietrich. Unless, I don't know. I wish we had some reporting from on the ground last week of what happened.
I mean, he was terrible. He played a little bit better on Friday, but he shot I think it was +7 on Thursday. I don't know that PGA National is a place you go to find your game. But if this was an anomaly, then yeah, God, if you could get $6,900 Thomas Dietrich at sub 7% ownership, like, sign me up.
I'm gonna have him. I'm gonna win big with our RTG Calcutta.
Make sure
I'd be okay with
enter that one in the $200 single entry as well, Jordan.
All right. Well, anyone else, Kyle? You got any final highlights you want to make on the board here? I mean, we got guys Gim, JT Poston, Mitchell, Yeager are all guys that are still charting out pretty high for us. We'll certainly tweet out our top plays later in the day on Wednesday.
Yeah, I think we it's 1 week we really just kind of got to see how things shake out over the last 24 hours. I'm not usually a huge pivot to ownership guy, but if there's a week to do it, yeah, it's probably the week. But on that note too, I'm interested if people will go off the folks that they think are going to be high ownership and offer some potential there because everyone keeps saying it's the week. So something to keep in mind.
Little bit of game theory, I guess.
Okay. Well, so I need you guys' help here, though. I'm entering my big money lineup, RTG. I've got 5. I've got $10,400 left. Henley, Kim, Cole, Poston. Where do I go with my 6th entry for our Calcutta?
Henley. I mean, Kyle already made the case.
But isn't everyone going to be on Henley? Do I still play him?
Yeah, but your other 5 no one's playing your other 5 players.
Yeah, great points. It's not who you play, how to play them. But yeah, I think it's gonna be hard for people to play Henley if they play Rory. So if you think it's
Okay, done. Playing the
All
40K
right,
Albatross. Let's do
there
it.
you go. The Cognizant Classic iteration of the name game. Last week at Mexico, we had Resort Tequila and Tacos. And unfortunately, guys, the listeners cleaned up somehow. Everybody missed a cut. But the listeners managed with Austin Eckroat, Cameron Champ. God, I faded Cameron Champ so hard last week, and he turned out to be just all right. And Alejandro Tosti, who missed the cut in that -1 group. But the 3 of us came up a bit short.
Jordan, did you realize last week you owned Got Her Up Tequila?
I did not.
I thought you might. That's why we picked that for you. We thought you would appreciate some nice Got Her Up Tequila.
This is the innuendo that you guys were missing last week.
Yeah.
That's why you're here. Well, I don't know that you'll get that in this week's name game, but the listeners who won last week, that brings our season standings to I have 4 wins, Kyle, you have 2 wins, and the listeners have 2 wins. Jordan, still looking for your first win, and I hope you'll be drafting first this week, so you'll have a great chance to choose your team.
Let's workshop this one too, guys. Who do we?
Yeah, well, yeah, there you go. The listeners, they kind of mailed it in this week. They sort of borrowed a recently used theme for name game, and they went with 2 champs and a rookie. So every team will consist of 2 former champions of the Honda Classic and 1 player that has never played this event before. So we got Team 1, Chris Kirk, the 2023 champ, and Ricky Fowler, the 2017 champ, playing with Jake Knapp, our winner last week and rookie at PGA National. Team 2, Sung Jae Im, won in 2020. Keith Mitchell, won in 2019. I assume that's why they're buddies and play in the Zurich Classic together. And Sami Välimäki, our runner-up last week, also a rookie at PGA National. Team 3, Russell Henley, won in 2014. Sepp Straka, won in 2022. And Alexander Bjork, a rookie over from the DP World Tour. And Team 4, Rory McIlroy, the 2012 champion, with Padraig Harrington, don't sleep on Padraig, the 2015 champ, and Rasmus Højgaard, the rookie, getting some steam this week. What do you think, Jordan?
I'm going back and forth between Team 2 and Team 3. Big. Is Sammy a course fit here? I'm all in on Sammy after last week.
We're not going to comment on that. You're on your own, sir.
Oof. I don't know. I see. I'm debating. Or do I go with Henley and Sepp? That's 2 pretty solid base there. But Alexander Bjork is probably more likely to Bjork out of this tournament. Hold on, I need to do some research.
Oh, God. You just got to pick. We don't have time for this.
Just pick.
I just need to see how Bjork's been playing.
He's been playing good. That's why he's in this event.
5 events, 2 cuts made. I'm going Sammy. We're going Team 2.
All right. I wouldn't do that, but that's your funeral.
I can't be any worse than I have been.
It's me next, right?
It is.
Oh, I didn't expect to have a decision between Team 3 and Team 4 here. I expected Jordan to take one.
Nope. I
Um,
wanted 3 guys that made the cut. Podrick's not going to make it.
so I'm going to go Henley, Sepp, and Alexander Bjork. He's Russian. He's Russian now.
Yeah, gosh. I mean, I obviously the answer for me is to take Rory and hope he rolls. I think Jake Knapp is coming back down to earth this week. So I'm very happy. And plus, Ricky has been just awful. So I don't think there's any reason for me to take Team 1.
The Jake Knapp I saw on Sunday is going to really struggle. He gritted. He won, but man, alive.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't hit. I mean, we said again, driving accuracy isn't important, but he hit 2 fairways at Mexico where the fairways are 70 yards wide. These fairways are going to be a little bit narrower. 70 yards wide puts you in the water if you're missing those.
Well, and that's the clarification, right? If you missed a fairway at Mexico, you're in the water here.
Yeah, exactly. All right, listeners, good luck with Kirk Fowler and Jake Knapp. Round things out, Kyle. Are you getting bets in for the Cognizant Classic?
Might have been some bets placed. Some of them just random event. So you kind of got to take things that you think are a good number. So I got in on Matthew Fitzpatrick at 30. Just thought that was a little high given his ability to pop up out of nowhere and win an event. Daniel Berger is in this field. 40-1. Good on Bermuda in the past. Let's give it a shot. Sepp Straka has won here before, 45-1. Tom Hoagie, 60-1. Just for you, Mike.
I like that.
And Adam Schenk, 110. Why not? We've seen him compete. He has some decent form up and down coming in, but we've seen him pop up out of nowhere. So let's go.
Good stuff. I think we got a lot of irons in the fire this week. I think it's about time to get the RTG Calcutta winner back for a good sweat on Sunday. And hey, if Tommy Tables is going to be in the mix too, I'll be tuned in. Anything else, guys, for the evening?
I think you made the comment about the Calcutta. The field
has been slamming it.
Yeah, he's already doubled his money. It's a good year to have the field.
We only need 1 win, and we double our money though.
Both are good points. There's been a lot of commentary this week about the number of long shot winners, and we're looking at our model, and we're showing that even like the low end of our power index is actually performing above average, which just shows the volatility in some of the picks week to week. And last year, what did we have? Like the chalkiest year on record for golf gambling. Like it's just 2 ends of the spectrum. Last year we just didn't have these type of results. And so I don't know, Jordan, what the field paid last year in the Calcutta, but I'm sure it wasn't nearly as lucrative as it is on pace to be this year. And that's just the nature of how things are shaking out.
Yep.
But anyways, well, there we go. The Cognizant Classic preview is in the books. Of course, you can find our content all week long on our Twitter feed at RTG Podcast DFS. New podcast episodes drop on Wednesday morning on our YouTube channel, Reading the Green, and on any major podcast platform. We'll be back in a week to catch up on the results of the Cognizant Classic and preview the Arnold Palmer Invitational for Reading the Green's 100th episode. See ya.